Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here with some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today we will be looking at a series between LosirA and Marine King. This is going to be a Terran versus Zerg, Marine King versus LosirA. Starting off here on the map Dual Site, let's get a little bit of information about the players. LosirA, our red Zerg player, spawning over here in the right-hand spawn position of Dual Site. Recently took second place at the Arena of Legends, the King of Kongs. This was in January of 2012. He also took second place at the 2011 Pepsi GSL July Code S. His opponent over here in the lower left-hand spawn position is, of course, Marine King, taking first place at the KSL Grand Opening in January of this year. Also in January of this year, he was a semi-finalist at the Arena of Legends, the King of Kongs. And that is a quick little recent tournament information here for both these players. Now, one thing that I do want to mention here as well is this particular series here, and most of the series I've actually been commentating on for the past week or so, is coming from the recent MLG Winter event. Now, when I am commentating a game from a recent event, I will not mention those players' placement in that event. For very obvious reasons. I don't want that to be a huge spoiler for you guys. So I am not mentioning the recent placement of either of these players of the recent MLG Winter event, just so it doesn't spoil it for those who maybe don't know or haven't seen it or whatever. If you've seen it, then, well, you've already seen this, so why the heck are you watching? That's a good question to begin with. LosirA moving out with that early drone scout. He is dropping his hatch. Did decide to go hatch first here. And we'll be moving on up into Marine King's main base. Now, as you can see here, Marine King is going with that relatively standard opener. Didn't go with the depot out front just so he could get a little extra mining early on by placing the depot back here. He does appear to be attempting to go for that wall off, although he might not need it. Really, I've seen Marine King play without fully walling off plenty of times and just utilizing a proper Marine micro to defend himself from scouting early on, although it looks like he will in fact be deciding to do that wall off and very likely dropping an attachment here on the racks as well, and then placing a second depot over there when the time comes. Looks like no attachment coming as of yet, and LosirA, grabs the extractor right at the very last moment there. So we'll be doing this little extractor trick here. We got a factory follow-up here for Marine King. Should be seeing a reactor right now. I'm assuming this will, of course, be a helion opening. So as soon as he has those 50 extra Vespene, which will be after this Marine, we should be seeing that reactor go down so we can get those double helions. Now let's see if he cancels it off. Yes, he does cancel off, but ends up losing the drone. At least he gets some of those resources back. 19 of the 30 that he spent there on dropping that. Alright, so now that all those Marines are out and he does have enough Vespene, we will be seeing that reactor come down. And then once this is finished, well, there'll be a hot swap there with that factory, allowing Marine King to go ahead and get those double helions. Now look at this Marine semi-wall off here. There's a little bit of space, but this is really meant to stop any second scouts from getting up high enough above the ramp to spot the attachment there that is building onto that rack. So now we can see no secondary scouts are moving out yet for LosirA, so this isn't actually going to do anything, but were there secondary scouts, this would be very effective here for Marine King at, again, preventing that attachment scouting, because that is something that LosirA certainly wants to do. He wants to find out what that attachment is, and it looks like he's planning to do so right now, pushing out with a very heavy amount of Zerglings early on, 8 Zerglings right now. Again, keep in mind, typically you'll see about 2 to 4 after that spawning pool pops, but we are actually seeing a total of 8 here for LosirA. So we'll be moving out and hiding with a few Zerglings down here. Now moving up with just this one to try to get that scouting information. And again, this is going to be attempted to be denied here by Marine King. Now let's see what LosirA ends up scouting. He did scout 1 helion. He saw the silhouette of that there. And there are 2, in fact, as we can see. Moving down to catch that Leng. We still have these Lengs hiding over here. This is something that Marine King doesn't know about at the moment. Marine King fanning out there with these Hellions, getting map control, and actually just massing up those Marines. So not going with that double Helion from the reactor, instead massing up those Marines and going with the medevac. This will be a Marine Helion medevac push that we will be seeing from Marine King Prime. These can be very, very potent, especially if not scouted by the Zerg player. So we will have to wait and see if LosirA ends up checking this out. We still have these Lings over here. They've got the opportunity to scout. Now Marine King does have total map control at the moment. He's grabbed the towers. He realizes there's no scouting going on from LosirA. We still have these units over here. There we go. Leng moving across. Should have spotted that medevac there. Oh my god, he caught the edge of that. I'm not sure if he spots it. Now we still have this Overlord that'll give him a bit of response time. He can see it right now. Medevac moving up. We'll be dropping the Marines first. and then allowing those Hellions to support the Marines, and then lifting up those Hellions there in the medevac, dropping them in the main. Already one Overlord down. Here come the 3 Queens plus the Lings, trying to get us around right now and do as much damage as possible. Queens go straight for the medevac, almost drop it, but he pulls back just in time. 1 Queen very low, medevac needs to be careful, he gets taken out, and that's a problem. Really wanted that medevac to help assist in keeping those Marines up a bit longer, but without that healing power, he will be dropped much sooner. As a result, not doing nearly as much damage as he could have. Couple Marines still sitting over there. Decent defense by LosirA. Let's take a look at the trade-off here. They're about even in terms of resources lost. There wasn't any workers involved in that engagement, so I don't know why I'm checking that worker loss tab. You can see a number of units killed there. But yeah, they're about even in terms of resources lost, so it really wasn't that effective for Marine King. He did take out 1 Overlord, and I think he ended up dropping that Queen. Did he? And there's still 3 Queens. Where's that 3rd one? Can't even... I'm not sure. I really don't know. Because there could have been another Queen building that I just wasn't paying attention to the production tab. But I do believe he dropped that Queen, unless one of them got mass transfused. They're all at full health right now, pretty much at least. So I think he dropped at least the 1 Queen, plus that Overlord and a few Lings. That certainly was a decent attack, but again, they're about even in terms of resource loss. Right now, though, Hellions pushing on up into the expansion. Haven't killed any workers really yet. Did manage to do a bit more damage. We'll be trying to drop this spine right here. Get a few shots off on it, dropping another Ling there. Scanning, taking out those creep tumors. That's a nuisance there. Most certainly for LosirA. Now, LosirA is sitting right now on 4 Queens, plus the Lings that he has at the moment, which is 15. I know he should be okay. Shouldn't be taking too much damage from this. 1 Viking moving across the map already with 1 kill, is going to get a 2nd Overlord kill as well. Now Marine King moving into his expansion. Also will be going with the attachment there on the factory. Looks like it will be a Marine tank transition as he's getting out Stim Pack. Combat Shield should be following suit after the fact. A little surprised now that LosirA has map control with all these Hellions on the board. They quite easily take this back. There you go, grabs that 1 Ling, and then should leave 1 there and pull over the rest of his Hellions to take that other tower. A couple of scouting Lings moving down just to see what's going on. He's not going to walk in any tank fire yet, but he does spot the mass of Marines. Oh boy, that's a little dangerous there for that Hellion. Looks like the Ling decides not to do any damage whatsoever. He actually may have had an opportunity to kill off that Hellion, as it was very low at only 15 health. We have a massive Hellions moving across the map with a medevac and a Marine, and a bunch of Marines, I mean. And with this, looks like he will be continuing up this aggression. Marine King trying to stay on the offensive here. A couple Lings prepared for a counterattack. That could be it. I think it is going to be. Zerglings moving in for a counterattack. They're going to do some pretty devastating amounts of damage over here at this expansion. This could be a huge problem right now. Now Marine King continuing to move with his Marines and push back with those Hellions. Already doing some worker kills over here, trying to get up in the main. Doesn't end up busting through, but he does kill off a few workers. Marines over here trying to do what they can for damage. Drop a spine, get a few of these Lings as well, but with the Banelings rolling down, is going to force a lift off there. Lings finally get taken care of over there. Now Marine King did lose a fair amount of workers. Look at that, 8 workers killed there for LosirA. Taking a look at the resources lost, they're pretty much dead even now again. Staying on par with each other here. Been a pretty good bout thus far, a little back and forth action. No clear advantage going to either player right now, although Marine King, let's take a look at this income here. Marine King is a little bit behind right now from losing those workers. A problem right now, though, is that LosirA is still on 2 bases. Really want to see him get onto a 3rd sometime soon. I know it's been difficult so far, though, with all the pressure that Marine King has been laying down on him. With the Vikings still dancing around, sitting with 3 kills so far this game. So managed to get 3 Overlord kills. Medevacs, Marines with Stim Pack and Combat Shield, and a couple of Hellions moving out. Have these Lings over here. And look at that, that was beautiful. He waited to spot, he had the Xel'Naga Tower, waited to spot this movement, and then immediately grabbed those forces that were hiding up here and moved down for a counterattack. Love this play here from LosirA. Quite easily defended there by Marine King. Nice positioning with the tank, getting the repair as well from the SCV, and pulling back with those Marines. He was able to handle that. Now pulling in the middle, trying to take out these vulnerable Hellions. Going to do a little bit of damage, but the Hellions with some micro will be forcing those Lings back, and they're just going to immediately head back home. Now again, LosirA is still just on 2 bases. He's got a macro hatch in here, starting to come out with that infestation pit. I'm a little worried though, because Marine King is not going to let him expand if he can help it, as he's continuing up this aggression, scanning, dropping those creep tumors. And now those tanks are going to start to set up position and drop into the high ground. This is so aggressive here from Marine King. LosirA has got to be frustrated right now. He's going to drop the Baneling Nest with the Siege Fire, plus the Marines. Drops the Baneling Nest. No more Banelings for LosirA. Pulling down with the Lings, trying to get the units at the top and down below. We still got a few Banelings left, trying to do some damage. Gets us around on the tanks. We still got those Marines up on the high ground, though. That tank gets taken out, but these Marines are still doing a bit of damage, killing off a few workers. Taking a look at the resources lost, so that's the big problem right now for LosirA, as he is very far behind with resources lost. Losing that Baneling Nest hurt him so much as well. And the unit positioning here for Marine King, so impressive. Wedging himself in between the buildings and the mineral patches, allowing him to stay there much longer, not get surrounded by those Zerglings, and do significantly more damage than he would be able to otherwise. Now, Marine King is preparing for a third. This is something that LosirA is not able to do right now. He is still stuck on these two bases. He's going to be devoting all of his resources to getting more units to continue to defend against this consistent aggression from Marine King. Let's take a total count here, though. A little bit over 2,000 resources behind right now. LosirA is struggling very badly at the moment. Looks like he will be attempting another counterattack. We do have a tank plus a few Marines here prepared to defend. Push setting up over here. Marine King setting that siege, stemming up those Marines. And look at the Marines plus the tanks here taking care of these Lings. Gonna mop them up. Need to lift this up, though. Looks like he's gonna get a few more Lings over there. Fungal growth over here on these units. Still, though, the Marines continue to pressure. SCBs engaging the Lings over here, trying to take them out. Another Fungal takes out these Marines, and Marine King's aggression is getting taken care of right now. Still has that one tank up, but still, even with that, even with those Lings doing a bit of damage over here, and even the fact that his attack got mopped up, Marine King has still done significant damage. He is still ahead right now, with LosirA being still about 2,000 resources behind Marine King at the moment. And Marine King is prepared to take a third as he begins to transfer on down some workers, lift off that orbital, and move on down. Very, very impressive play so far from Marine King. Now, LosirA doing what he can to hold on, but he has had a very difficult time. Again, it's just that consistent aggression that we've been seeing from Marine King. He's been absolutely relentless, and with this Ling over here, we'll be preventing that orbital from landing in a proper position, forcing him to land in kind of a not optimal spot there. Lings make it in the main. We'll be doing a bit of damage here as they take out those Marauders. Takes them forever, though. And Lings in the main doing actually a bit of work. Very nice counterattack here from LosirA. 26 workers killed so far this game, trying to even things up again. Still obviously throwing away these Lings in the process, but he's doing significant damage over here. Trying to burrow those Lings. Scan detects them, though, allows Marine King to take them out. And you can see right now, Marine King has this up and saturated, and LosirA now 18 minutes in the game, just now dropping his third. And again, the reason behind this is because of the fact that Marine King has been so non-stop in his face with constant pressure. Lings pulling on forward. We'll be doing a little bit of damage to that SCV count, putting them on hold position to stop them from engaging those Marines and try to kill off as many SCVs as possible. Nice fungal growth there from the Infestor. Scan, though, means that those Infestors are going to get dropped very quickly. Tries to fungal growth and save himself a bit, and very nice, actually, manages to get away with those Infestors, impressively enough. Did not expect those Infestors to make it out of there alive, but with that fungal growth plus a few more Lings, actually was able to do so. Is he going to spot this and scan? You can see there's a bit of movement there. You can see the movement of those burrowed units, so it's quite hilarious if you're able to spot that and get a scan on such high value units. Zergling counterattack moving over here, trying to get a few more kills again, trying to even things up a bit. He is still quite a bit behind, and here's this massive push right now coming from Marine King. Get those infested Terrans going down. We still have this Zergling counterattack over here, trying to do some damage. Infested Terrans helping a bit. Still a bunch of tanks, though, and a little bit of bio with Marines and a few Marauders in the mix, too. He muscles through it, and LosirA has very little left to defend. Nothing in the form of that counterattack anymore. He's about to lose his expansion here. Marine King gets the GG from LosirA in a very impressive game number one here between these two players. Again, continuous aggression from Marine King really significantly delayed LosirA's third. And he spent so much time just trying to defend against Marine King, he really wasn't able to do too much damage himself. A few attempted counterattacks, killed off a bit of workers, but still wasn't enough to get the victory for LosirA. Great game number 1 here between Marine King and LosirA. We will be moving on to game 2 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.